So, oh, I should introduce myself. Hello, I'm Ojiro. I made a game called DOWNWELL, and I'm currently working on a game called Neom, which Wiley just introduced for me. It's in one of the cabinets in the fantastic arcade area. And yeah, those two are the only games that I have ever made or am making, and I don't have all that much experience in game development yet, so there's not much that I can talk about. But so yeah, most of the things that I'll be talking about will be related to DOWNWELL. And well, actually, I was going to show you guys the first. Hang on. So I don't come from a programming or game development background. I actually went to university majoring in opera singing. It's really random. Yeah, so that was completely unrelated. I was just living my life without much of thinking, and I found myself studying opera singing. And just before I was about to graduate, I actually started thinking about my life and what I really wanted to do and stuff. And I found that I wanted to work on games, so I bought Game Maker Studio and started this thing called Game a Week that Rami Ismail of Lambia suggested in an article where he said that aspiring game designers should make one game per week, just as like a design study practice kind of thing. So I went and did that, and this was the game that I made in my first day of acquiring. Oh fuck. So I made this in my first day of acquiring Game Maker, and really I didn't think that I would be able to do any programming and stuff, but upon just playing around with Game Maker, I found that I was able to make something that moved. And that was super exciting for me because I felt like I was creating a world, and I just couldn't stop. And I just went on to making this on my second day. It's a sad faces. When they collide, they become happy faces. And yeah, just like making these stuff, I was super hyped and went on to make this in my first week. It's a basic platformer. You probably have no idea what that thing is. I was going to draw like a macho, muscly guy and draw a sprite of it, but upon getting started and drawing him, I realized that if I drew him in full, it was going to take some time. So I just drew his upper body and gave up on the lower body and just called it The Adventures of an Upper Body Guy. And this was the mock-up I did of his animation. And I implemented him into the game. So I was having so much fun just making this stuff. And yeah, that was my first week basically. This was my second week in Game a Week. It was just a basic, boring infinite runner thing. But yeah, learning new stuff. This was my third week where you do paper, scissors, rocks, but in a really violent fashion. Yeah, just trying to do a bunch of different stuff so that I learn a lot. Yeah. This was my fourth Game a Week. It's one of those doodle army kind of thing where a bunch of units come from one side. I forget which week this was. It's my fifth Game a Week thing. Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Before he made Hotline Miami.
Really? Oh, that's good to hear. I actually haven't played many of his past games, so that's kind of...
Lots of screen shake.
Right. Just playing around with top-down stuff. Nothing came of these prototypes, but I just learned a lot from making these, messing around with these things. Yeah, I was really inspired by threes around this time. just like making a thing where everything would move as you swiped. Yes, I made a bunch of these little games. And then on my 13th Game a Week game, I started toying around with the idea of randomly generated shaft that the player would like keep going down in. And that ended up being Downwell. And I was gonna show some like really early art of it. So my design process, if I could call it that, is I would just draw a bunch of shit on this huge canvas and just put the stuff that looked the coolest into the game.
Did you already have mobile in mind when you started working on Downwell?
Oh yeah, actually,
aspect ratio.
I only had mobile in mind. Actually, I was never gonna make a PC version, but yeah, I ended up making that. Oh yeah, so like initially I was gonna have like a skill tree kind of thing, but just dropped that because it didn't make much sense. Just like messing around with buttons. Oh yeah, so initially I had this like black box over these buttons. Just, oh fuck. I felt like that made sense, but I felt like I could just make them transparent so that you would get to see the most on the screen, but this turned out to be a really bad idea because now everyone complains that when they play this game, their finger covers up the bottom of the screen. If I had this black border covering it, I don't think anyone would have complained it. So, yeah, that was a bad idea. Oh, here's some concept art of the gumboots thing.
We've been calling them shooty boots.
Yeah, shooty boots is the actual name of it. Yeah, just a lot of random drawings, I guess.
So for someone who hadn't been working in games for very long, you already had pretty quickly a pretty like distinct visual style. Oh
yeah, so that came as a result of doing Game a Week stuff. I had to finish I didn't have much time to work on the graphical assets because I only had 1 week per game. So I decided on like my fourth Game a Week that everything should be done in black and white, so that it just doesn't take much time with regards to like deciding on the color palette. And basically that's what came of Downwell's color palette. I just felt like it didn't look too bad, so I kept it, basically. What's that? That's just an added effort, I guess. I just felt like just black and white was a bit boring, so I felt like adding some color, and red seemed cool enough. Oh yeah, here are some like, I was gonna make like a alien UFO levels. That didn't make it in.
Did you do much art before games?
No. I would doodle on my like my papers for university and stuff, but I never really did art seriously.
Upper Body Man was actually like just the very simple animation for it was pretty advanced for.
Oh yeah, I actually like. I loved playing around with animation stuff. Like, you know, those like I forgot the name of it, but there was this software on DS where you would like draw stuff and it would get animated. Flipnote or something? Yeah, that. I love that shit, and like I would create so many like just stupid animations on that. So I guess that was a good exercise.
They made a 3D one.
They did.
Yeah.
There's also a great DS animation program called Inchworm Animation. If you guys haven't seen it, it's great.
I've never heard about it. Oh yeah, I was gonna have this like.
Had you been playing games much at this point? Had you played like
Oh, yeah.
Spelunky or?
Hell yes, like. So for some weird reason, I went to university studying music and opera singing and stuff. But I have been playing video games all my life. And yeah, I think I've played more than like an average gamer person would have played. So when I was about 12, I had a Chinese friend who was really into games as well. And one day he gave me a CD saying that like he just told me that there were a bunch of games in this CD and I should play it. And I booted it up. I saw all these like ROMs of Game Boy Advance games, and I didn't realize at the time that it was like an actual GBA games. And I booted them up and saw that it was quite like professionally made games. I realized that it might be something illegal, but there was like that CD probably had like the entire library of the GBA ROMs, and I played through most of that. And on my like 12th birthday, my mom gave me modded PlayStation 2, which let me play like copied games. So
Cool mom.
yeah, cool mom. No, she was just like talking to her mom friend, and like maybe that person mentioned there's like a cool PS2 where you can get games for cheap, and she was like, "Oh, that's wonderful," and like she just like bought it for me, and I would just go to video rental stores and like rent out games for $2 and just copy it. Yeah, so I had like stacks of like fucking DVDs full of games. Yeah, so I have loved playing video games all my life, but I never thought. So I really hated maths at school, so I just didn't think that I could program, right? I thought programming was something that only the geniuses, like the smartest people on earth, would be able to manage. But yeah, I found that it wasn't that hard when I like started getting into it. Well, I suppose it is hard, but like the most basic stuff that would enable a game to move, that stuff I found to be easy. Oh, so this was when I was toying around with the idea that maybe I should add more colors and make it be like RGB, red, green, blue. And I showed this to some of my friends, and they all hated it. They all disagreed that they just hated it, so I just didn't put that in.
Kind of reminds me of Christmas.
Yeah, it's a mess. I'm glad I didn't put that in, though.
Ojiro, I found you a wild saltsman here.
Oh, nice.
Give him the mic.
Hi.
Everybody, Adam's back.
Hello.
Hi everyone, sorry I am late.
Yeah, I was just going through my old stuff.
Was there ever a version where you weren't jumping down a hole?
No. It's always been jumping down the hole. That's the only thing that's like being kept consistent throughout all the builds. Although like it has gone through so many changes. Like the first few builds didn't have upgrades and stuff like that. Oh yeah, so I never really made like a design document for Downwell. It was just experimentation and iteration the whole way through. Just like trying anything out and seeing what sticks. Yeah.
Aside from Christmas tiles, what was the worst experiment?
I'll show you. Where is it? I forget which build that was. This might be it. Yeah, this was a terrible build where I experimented with a lot of stuff. So in this build, the only weapon is the Noppi weapon. There are no other weapons, and all the floors, they just like crumble. Yeah, this was really shitty because like I just put a bunch of these red eyeball things in it, and yeah, upon sending this to my playtesters, they all absolutely hated it, and they were like, just make it back to normal, like the way it was. And yeah, this was, I don't know why I did this, but
Were you thinking you want to be like kind of more? This feels like a little more like this feels faster than kind of normal Downwell in a way.
yeah, one of the playtesters, prior to me making this build, one of the playtesters suggested that I put more emphasis on going downwards because that's when the game was the most fun. So I took that advice to like the extreme and like made it so that there was like so much falling and like just encouraged ignoring all the enemies, dodging them and stuff. And yeah, that was pretty stupid on my part.
Well, it makes sense. Like so one of the things that makes Downwell really special is it's a game about falling down a hole, but you have to be not falling down a hole a lot for it to work.
Right.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah. So you have to keep a good balance between like ignoring things and like dodging stuff and like going down and killing some enemies so that you get some gems and like points and stuff. Combos if you are good enough at the game.
Were there any upgrades you put in that you had to take out?
Oh, there was a bunch. Hang on. I think I have some that I can show. Where is it? Upgrades. Oh yeah, there was this one upgrade called the dumbbell, which just made the player heavier, made you fall a bit faster, and not much else. So it just didn't have much use to it. What else? Not much else, actually. What's that? Where's the straight shooter? Oh, this. Yeah, that's a laser sight. Zen Mind. Can't even remember what this is. Huh. Strange. Which one? Bundle?
Yeah,
Bottom right.
Oh, bundle 1 and bundle 2.
Oh, these are just like two hearts bundled together that the shopkeeper would sell. This just became sushi, basically, where you get 2 health.
Sushi.
Yeah, shop items.
Was there was there feedback you were getting from playtesters that was like really, I mean, you showed collapsing floor build, but did you run into that a lot where you're like, aha, this is the path forward for Downwell, and all of your players were like, you need to go home, this is not.
No, most of the time the playtesters were quite happy with how the game was turning out to be, but I was just not satisfied with it because like most of the people who play the game, I think this can be said for like any game development, but people are going to be nice and say nice things about your game, so you can't really take their advice literally or take their feedback literally. And most of the players were really nice and they said they were having fun, but I was really hard on myself and just like kept on pushing and pushing, and yeah, just felt it wasn't good enough. So at times I made some drastic changes, like the one that I just showed, and that turned out to be bad. But yeah, not so many bad ones. Oh, this was one of the weird concept art. So really? I've never heard of that one. So Devolver Digital approached me and they said they basically said they maybe wanted to work with me and stuff, but they just required some concept art and like which way I was going to take the game in, and I had to like make some concept art at that point, just like drew some random shit, and this was one of the Dolphin Civilization. It was going to be like a secret area that I was going to put in, but didn't really, because it doesn't make much sense. Yeah, this was weird.
What were the other two?
Oh, the other two were boring. Oh, this is the actual dungeons level, which did make it into the main game. And this is Crystal Caves. Kind of boring too. Wonder if I have some other funny stuff.
So when I was playing through early versions that you'd sent me, it seemed like the thing that you were trying to nail down the most is balancing, like pushing everyone down really fast and also letting them sort of spelunky explore at their own pace. Like it seemed like that from build to build was the thing that kept changing. Was
right.
that like can you talk about finding that balance too?
Yeah, so obviously I took so much inspiration from Spelunky. Well, basically this game exists now because of Spelunky, really. I basically wanted to make a Spelunky-like game that you could play on mobile. And yeah, one of the things I aimed to do in this game was what Spelunky also does, which is, you know how in Spelunky you can play the game just normally and like get through it, but if you try to go to hell or if you try to like speedrun it, you have to like steal stuff from the shop, and once you rob the shop, the game becomes like so much harder, right? So I felt like that system was super well implemented, because for beginners they could just play the game normally, but for like more trained players, they could choose to make the game harder, not through a menu with just like setting the difficulty or anything like that, but just through like players' actions. So I really wanted to have the same sort of thing in Downwell, and so I made it so that players could take the game relatively slowly if they wanted to, but it would encourage the player to go way faster as they get used to the game. And there will be like more and more rewards and benefits if you play it that way. So that's basically what the combo system and the gem high system is. It just encourages the player to keep moving and like keep progressing.
Cool. What's your favorite enemy design? But also, which enemy did you put in that players hate the most that makes you the happiest?
Bats. Oh yeah, and the red eyeball guy people hate. People seem to hate too. But I really like bats in video games myself. And yeah, in Downwell, you can choose to shoot the enemy or like stomp on them. So bats are really like the most basic enemy in this game, where it chases you and you have the option to either shoot it or dodge it or stomp on it. So yeah, that was like the most basic enemy type, and I went from there basically. I added everything else after having come up with the bat. Well, I didn't really come up with it. The bat is just like a super basic idea that's in most games, many games. But yeah. What else do I have?
Was there especially as you got like farther along, you're like, okay, this is Downwell, and this is how you explore, and this is where you find the little shops, and these are my places where I go through. Was there, did you have like sort of a wish list of things where you're like, oh, someday I'll be able to put in like this weird thing, and either it just wasn't a good match, or it ran out of time?
Yeah, there were so many things that I wanted to put in the game, but just didn't have the time for. Because I was really inspired by and super loved Spelunky, I really wanted to put in some secret levels, like Spelunky did, but just didn't have the time for it. And I also wanted to make an endless mode that some players have already been like asking me to make, but just didn't have the time for it. Yeah. What else? Yeah, but I think overall I'm happy with how the game turned out. And for any of the ideas that I have that I felt like putting in this game, I could probably just put it in the sequel or something. So yeah, I'll just hold on to those ideas. If I ever do make a sequel, that is.
That was good. Good fix.
No, I don't have much. I think I just showed everything. There
That's
is
a
to show on my
sweet
computer.
self-portrait up there.
Which one?
The
Oh, this.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna create like a logo that I could use on my games, but didn't, and I ended up not using them. I should have actually done that though, so for like branding purposes, but whatever. Maybe for my future games, I don't know.
I might have missed it, but rocket.gif. There's like a bunch of dudes flying off into space.
Oh, this was just a doodle that I did for like fun. Oh, this was actually initially one of the upgrade icons for the rocket jump, but yeah, didn't really like convey it well, so I drew another one.
What's the best color palette?
The default one.
Officially and objectively.
The default one.
Oh.
Yeah, so I implemented the color palette system just so that I could increase the playtime through like having something the players could unlock, but really the best palette is the first one. But I just like that the players would have options to like choose whichever that they favor.
Can you show us the oldest build of DOWNWELL?
Sure. It's pretty boring. Wait, how do I even jump? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you don't even have the gumboots. This was just like a really shitty version of Spelunky, like. But you just like go downwards and do nothing much else. There wasn't even the gumboots. There was no items. I was just experimenting with what would work with the 3-button setup that I had thought early on, which would be just left, right, and jump. Because I was making this game for smartphones only, and I decided very early on that I could only have so much room for buttons, right? So I was only going to have 3. And yeah, this was at the most basic level where you just literally just move and jump. Just exploring with how interesting I could make it be, but failing.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Since you're talking about controls, I find that in DOWNWELL, the kind of virtual keypad, gamepad works really well.
Thank you.
That's impressive to me because I normally hate virtual gamepads. I mean, there are games that I think everybody in this room loves that I probably hate because I can't use a virtual gamepad. So how much balancing, did you spend a lot of time experimenting with those three controls and getting the spacing and the balancing and everything right that you feel intuitive on a touch screen?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely wanted to make it so that it felt the best to control. I mean, like I myself don't really like the touch, like virtual pad games. because they just don't feel very good to control. But there's this one game that I like that uses that setup, and that is Kero Blaster. I don't know if you guys have played it. You guys well should have, but yeah. It's a super good game by Pixel, the creator of Cave Story, and it plays really well despite only using the touchpad for buttons. So I felt like there could be a way to make a good control on touchpads. So yeah, I took a long time just adjusting the placement of the buttons and like how precise the fingers have to be on and stuff.
It shows and you've got it.
Thank you very much. I experimented around with like swipes to control and stuff as well, but that just didn't work as well as the like pushing buttons, because with twitchy games like this, you want the player character to move as soon as you think you want it to move, right? And pressing it doesn't take much time, but swiping takes maybe like 0.1 second or something, and that's just too much, right? It's just too much time. So yeah, I didn't.
It looked like even that first build had a combo counter, but for collecting the gems.
Didn't have it. Well, the build that I was just playing now.
Yeah.
Really?
It looked like there was a thing that would like count down when you picked up a gem. Oh no, wait, what is that? Is that your falling speed?
Oh yeah, that's how far I progressed down this well.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the number below it is like your Y movement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, it's just like
Oh.
meters.
Between touching platforms. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Distance traveled, I guess. Yeah, so after this build, I think I came up with the gumboots mechanic. What the hell is so slow? Right. Yeah, so like, the moment I discovered, well, like I came up with this gumboots mechanic, I was like super excited. Literally the first thing I thought was, even JW of Vlambeer would be proud of this. Because, yeah, I'm like a huge fan of Vlambeer, and I just like take their like game design philosophy into like, yeah, just like so much inspiration, taking so much inspiration from them.
This feels like very downwelly for
Yeah.
like, the second build. Like,
Already, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to like make the most use of this cool mechanic that I found, and made these like blocks that you could shoot, and oh yeah, you could also stomp enemies too. Yeah, this is pretty much down well. Huh.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah. I think this was like 3 weeks in, maybe.
Who does the procedural generation? I assume it's template units, but how much sort of messing around?
For the stream of questions about a little bit about like how are the levels actually generated.
Oh, I killed him too fast. I should have showed you guys. Yeah, so the levels are made. Oh yeah, so I was watching Indie Games a movie, in the extra bits, and in one of the footages, Derek Yu of Spelunky was talking about how he did the random procedural generation for Spelunky, and basically he uses like text to generate levels. He has like a set of like just a bunch of like level sets. I'll show you in text, and it just like generates them in random order. And in terms of making those for Downwell, I didn't really put much thought into like making each of the level sets. Just made some whatever I felt like making and tried it out. see if it's not like too unfair in terms of enemy placements and stuff. And if it was alright, I just keep it in. And yeah, that didn't take too much time, I suppose. What took the most time in terms of level design was the gimmicks that I added into each areas. Like, coming up with ideas around that was what was the most hardest for me, I think. Oh yeah, so each of the levels are like this. The B's are basically the breakable blocks. C's, what's C? Can't remember what C's are. I don't think it's crates, is it? No, it's not. It might be bats or something. Why is it C? Anyways, yeah, so I just make a bunch of these and start like generating them in random order.
And you would design it as text without like drawing it out or anything? This is where you created all of it?
Yeah, this is where I created it. I didn't know like how else I could do it.
This is the official Downwell level editor.
Yeah. I didn't have the knowledge to like make level editors and stuff back then, so I just made stuff in a really inefficient way. But nowadays, I've gotten much more used to the software, so that like for the new game Neom, I was able to make a quite legit level editor thing. I'll show you guys, because I'm proud of this. I don't know. It might be really shitty for like the better devs, but like for me, this is like an achievement. It's taking some time to load. Oh yeah, if you guys have any questions, just shout them out.
Oh yeah, up here.
So like when I first played Downwell, I was really blown away by how tight it was and like how sort of efficient all the systems were. And
Thank you.
I was kind of under the assumption until I just sat down here to listen to that it was made by like a really seasoned developer.
Right.
Which is great. Like, but I was wondering if that kind of feedback like surprises you at all.
No. Yeah, like, so I'm not really an experienced game developer at all, so I don't know how to like do level editors, just as I said, and like I don't know how to code that well, so my code is like a fucking mess. But what I do have is I've played so many games that I have, I don't know, what do you call it? I have a knack for like the kind of game that I like, the kind of game that I would want to play. I think like through playing all those like illegally downloaded ROMs and like copied PlayStation 2 games, I grew to have like high standards for play feel and like games and stuff in general. So yeah, that's good.
Was there a particular game that had a sort of a jump that you were like really trying to kind of like recapture some of how that feels, or was it kind of more of a mashup?
For Downwell, do you mean?
Yeah.
For Downwell, the main inspiration was Spelunky and Nuclear Throne. So like the shooting feel and stuff is really similar to how Nuclear Throne does it. Even the sounds are done by the same guy, actually. So, yeah, I don't think I've taken too much inspiration from any other game. No, probably not. Yeah, just Nuclear Throne and Spelunky. Those are my biggest inspiration.
So this is the Neom level editor?
Yeah, check it out.
This is way fancier than any level editor I've ever made.
Really?
Really.
Yeah. Step your game up. No, sorry, just kidding.
I've literally never made a level editor, so I don't know if it's a super high bar to hit.
Yeah,
but
check this out. The car spins around and shit. And look at this detail, you guys. Like as I like select one of these things, check this like small window, right?
Is that a preview
Just like
window?
spins just a little bit and it, like shows it like, oh, you can't even see that in the drum cam, but yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. What was the
Wow.
question? I'm sorry.
Was there a question?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So my artist. So this 3D stuff is like. So this game is made in Game Maker, and you guys might not know or might know, but Game Maker isn't very good at doing 3D stuff. So this isn't actual 3D, but this is like what's called fake 3D, in which I just like layer a bunch of sprites on top of each other and make it seem like it's 3D. Do you understand what I mean? Like, I'll show you an example.
The sort of interlaced video look to it, was that like an accident or deliberate?
Which one?
You know,
That's
like,
a-
slightly staggered, like badly interlaced video.
I think.
Oh,
what-
yeah,
What
that's-
he's about to show you will. If you're showing him what I think you're showing him, it'll help explain what's going on.
Yeah, probably. So for like the car is made up of like 18 sprites, right? It's like, it's basically like a CT scan of like frames. So basically I'm drawing from the bottom to the top and like layering them like that. And spin them around in like depending on the view angle, and just makes it seem like it's 3D, but it's not really. So that's why you see that staggering thing, because like it's just layered sprites and like the space in between them shows sometimes. And we were aware of that problem, but it kind of made a distinctive look, so we just kept it in. Yeah, and this, I realize, is a very inefficient way of doing 3D. And my artist is like complaining to me, like, she's like, just use Unity. but I'm like, no, this looks cool, and I don't know how to use Unity anyway, so yeah. But yeah, it's pretty amazing that my artist got the hang of this pretty quick, because it's really not an intuitive way to be doing 3 models in, but she's like a huge fan of Lego and Minecraft and stuff, so I guess that came in handy in like imagining, like getting the hang of like this weird 3D stuff. Yeah.
The camera in this game is really cool, I think.
Camera?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because sort of it rotates around, and so it's like it's really easy to see everything, but it sometimes feels like you get lost in the woods a little bit. Like it's got a really kind of I don't know. It feels different than a lot of things. Like it doesn't feel like it feels like if it was straight and maintaining its orientation all the time, that it would feel a little bit more like Zelda, because you need to be anchored and know which way is north and stuff like that. But here you're kind of just going from point A to point B, and it feels like a lot more organic and special, I think.
Right. Yeah, so there have been this kind of fake 3D games, but I wanted to explore what kind of action-y gameplay that I could do in this setup. And yeah, but right now I don't know. Oh, so Neom is not really complete yet. I do have a cabinet in the Fantastic Arcade, but I plan to keep working on it and make this be like a fuller game. But I still don't know which direction to take it in yet. Right now it's like all like action-y with swatting these like monsters with pipe and stuff, but I feel like the graphics and the music sets a pretty cool atmosphere that maybe it's not best to have so much violence. So yeah, I'm still thinking about that. I'll probably make it more like exploration based. I really don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to put it out there. It's not a done thing. It's not a complete game yet.
I really like the cracks in the ground
Oh yeah, I like them too.
where like they seem to they seem to go down. Is that a very clever trick, or are they actually going? Are those sprites stacking downward?
No,
while
they-
others are stacked up.
They never go downward. It just It's just like a trick that my artist did that makes it look like that.
It's a really good trick.
Yeah, it is. Like, I don't even know how that works. Yeah, but she managed to do it. Yeah, how does she do that? Huh. Pretty good. Yeah, look at this, like, this like huge, what do you call them? Like water tank things. This is like so many sprites. It's probably more efficient to just use polygons. It's like what?
That's like 6,000 sprites.
Yeah, that's why the game lags so much. But yeah, still, it's got a distinctive look. So.
Tell us about your artist and how you met her.
So she's a pixel artist in Japan that lives in Japan, and how I met her. Oh yeah, we have this indie meetup thing in Tokyo called Tokyo Indies, and it's a monthly thing. And yeah, she came to it this like one day. I knew about her
Shit,
through.
here comes that guy.
Oh shit! I knew about. I had known about her through Twitter because like the pixel art community is still relatively small in Japan, so I know all the good pixel artists in Japan. And yeah, at Tokyo Indies I met her, and we did this one game for Global Game Jam, and it turned out alright. So I asked her if she wanted to make a bigger game with me, and yeah, after finishing Downwell, we started working on this. Well, not really immediately after, but as a project after Downwell. We just only started on this like a month ago, a month and a bit.
That's amazing progress.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we worked so hard, so thank you very much. Still, it's Nemk on Twitter. It's NEMK_. She draws some good stuff, so you should follow her. I'm also working with Ilke for music. Yeah. Oh, you know Ilke? Yeah, he's fucking amazing, isn't he? Yeah. So I'm super excited to be working with him. And also for sound effects, I'm working with Jonas Turner, who also did the sound effects for Downwell. Yeah. So we're a team of 4, and I'm super hyped to be working with those guys.
Can you actually show Apocalypse Gardening also?
Oh,
Yeah.
that one.
Why do you hate it? I'm always
No,
trying
I
to
don't
get you
hate
to
it.
like
I don't hate
expand on it, and you always ignore me because I think it's great. I think it's the best.
Really? Thank
Yeah.
you.
We should get someone up to play it.
So yeah, no, but I don't have the mouse. So
I have a mouse. Hold on.
really?
Let Brandon play.
So Apocalypse Gardening is the game that I made with Nemk for Global Game Jam last year, and it turned out pretty alright for a Global Game Jam game. So that's where we gained confidence and like just teamed up for a bigger project. I'll show you a little bit. It's really better with the mouse, but yeah, I'll just start playing with this touchpad. Oh, you got the mouse.
Lance, do you want to play it? You seem like our official.
I actually never played it before.
Oh, it's basically a clone of Nuclear Throne, so. Hang on. Oh no, it's like all tangled up. Oh shit. I should be fine with this. Go ahead. It's WASD and click and click.
It's not nuclear throne because oh no, it's nuclear throne.
But with a watering can.
Watering.
Yeah, you have to so I forgot how this game works.
So you like regain.
Also,
health
you
inside
shoot
your
with
garden.
left click,
Oh.
and you water the flowers with right click.
I have 5 and it's
Yeah, like being in your garden grows your life back, right?
Yeah. So the setting is that like the entire world is like full of radiation or something like that, and you have to keep in that flower area to live, and your life is like constantly depleting, and you have to water the flowers or otherwise they just like die out.
Oh no. That makes sense.
Yeah, right? This game rules, right?
Yeah, so like before Neom, we tried working on a full version of Apocalypse Gardening, but it just didn't turn out very well. So we moved on. My artist did, Nemk did.
Well, Neom also rules, so it's not like I'm disappointed. I do also really love this game.
Is there an end goal?
Huh?
End goal?
No, there's no end to it. It's just you just try to survive for as long as you can. Oh no, water!
Oh, you
Get some water. Oh no!
Nice job.
Thank you. Thanks for playing. Yeah, so that was Apocalypse Gardening. Yeah, so I guess I have made 3 games in total. Well, if you count the Game of Week games, I made a bit more, but...
Can you talk about the inspiration for Neom, too? Was it just that Nemk really likes Stalker?
Yeah, the art style is definitely like all her, so she just drew up whatever she wanted, and it just ended up being all really bleak and Russian, like stalker-like. But no, I just like experimented with this fake 3D stuff until something came out of it. Oh, I did have like a early screenshot of it though. Where is it? Oh yes, I was just using DOWNWELL sprites for the prototype.
Do you reuse your sprites often?
What's that?
Do you reuse your sprites often?
Yeah, I do reuse my sprites often for prototyping.
I really like that the combat almost has like a rhythm feel to it, too. Like,
Yeah, this was way more like action-y kind of. I was like super focused on making combat be good. Yeah, you can tell this is my art. It's pretty bad. Yeah, I was just experimenting around with what could be done within this like fake 3D stuff, and I feel like there's a lot of ways that we could have taken it in, but yeah, I really like where Neom is going now with Nemk's art.
it's like
Yeah.
the elephant in the room. Like we all want to look at the kitten pictures, but he keeps scrolling past
Oh,
them.
right. Yeah. Actually, yeah, this is a this is a pretty sad story, but this cat died quite recently. Oh, yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this. Yeah. Yeah, actually, let's talk about this cat. It's a fucking tragedy, really. Like, so I always wanted a cat, right? And like, but I was too poor to get a cat, and I lived in a small room, so I couldn't even get a cat. But like, after like making some money with DOWNWELL, I was finally able to get this cat, and yeah, it just dies on me after like 5 months. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But anyways.
I'm really sorry I brought it up. I thought that cat was a different cat.
It's okay. Yeah.
Is the Waves thing another prototype? Or
Oh
I've seen you
yeah.
post that on Twitter a bunch.
I have it actually. Yeah, nothing came of this prototype, but I'll show you anyways.
Did you know about events?
Which one? Vans? Events. I'm sorry. No, what? I know about events, man. It's one of these things, right? Yeah, so this is the prototype that I made like 3 months ago, but nothing came of it. It's like, I've never been surfing before, so this is what I imagine surfing to be like. But yeah, immediately after posting this on Twitter saying it's surfing, some people were like, this isn't surfing. That's not how you surf. And like, I don't give a damn. Yeah. Thank you. I like them too. No. There's nothing though. You just move around. Really? Okay.
Put it on itch.io right now.
Okay, I'll put it on there. All right, fine. Okay, I'll put it on somewhere then. Yeah. But yeah, that's my story, I guess. What else could I show? I feel like I had more things to show though.
What was it about Apocalypse Gardening that you didn't like? Why did you vacate that idea?
It's just too similar to Nuclear Throne.
Really?
I don't know. I do like the whole like gameplay where you have to water the flower and like the bullets are also your water where you need to spend to survive. Like there's a little bit of like resource management kind of thing going on amidst that like chaotic shooting and stuff. But so yeah, I felt like it was a decent game for a jam game, but upon trying to expand it into a full game, I just didn't have any idea which way to take it in. Like, yeah, I don't know. I might get back to it someday, but I just couldn't come up with anything interesting. Okay. No, not yet. Oh, did you say, could you, like, in the future? Oh, maybe I could. Never really thought about that. Yeah, I was kind of toying around with the idea of making Neom be more of like a survival game, kind of, less on combat and like more on resource management and stuff. So I might consider that. Thank you. Thank you for the idea.
Good job, Wiley. Nice work. Got a question here in the front row.
Since DOWNWELL came out, have you had people contact you from the more entrenched in the Japanese video game industry who are like curious about you as an individual? What's your relationship to that?
So for the stream, the question is, after DOWNWELL, did Ojiro get connections or contacted by the Japanese game industry?
Like game industry, you mean like professional, like AAA kind of?
Sure.
You mean?
Yeah.
Not really.
No engagement?
Not really, no. Huh. Yeah, I mean, like, the indie, obviously, like, I became a bigger part of the indie community that was already there, but I didn't, and I did get contacted by, like, some free apps maker companies and that kind of stuff, but I was never interested in it, so I didn't even reply to them. Yeah, but in terms of, like, in like AAA legit games company, no, I never got contacted by them. I really wish From Software would just contact me on like something. If I don't really have any wish in working in a games company as of now, but if I had to, I would really love to work at From Software because, you know, the best games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne. Apparently they're not making those anymore though, are they?
We have a question over here on the...
Sure.
With DOWNWELL, I was wondering, you said you were making a game a week, and then DOWNWELL is like number 13.
Right.
So what was it? Were you just ready to make a full game, or is that like the best idea
Yeah, both, I guess. So after 12 weeks, I had a relatively good understanding of how the tool Game Maker worked, and I felt like I could make a longer game out of it now. And I just happened to come across this decent idea on my 13th week, and even after that week was done, I felt like I could add more to that game. So I just decided it would be the project that I spend maybe 2 months on, and I ended up spending, 1 year and 5 months on it. But yeah, I'm really glad I spent some time on it.
At this point, do you have any plans for updates to Downwell, or is it kind of like a finished product?
It's done.
Yeah.
So for any updates that any like ideas for updates that I might have, I'll probably be keeping it for a sequel that I'll probably end up making sometime in the future, but not immediately. Yeah. Oh, but hang on. Just this morning, I came up with an idea of making like a free version of Downwell with no in-app purchases or like no way to generate money at all, but just like put it out there on the App Store, and like it will be an endless thing with just the first level of Downwell with no upgrades, no HP, but you just do like combos, kind of like how those like Flappy Bird games are, where you just like try to get the highest score, and it would just like you would just keep doing combos or something like that, just as like a thanks to the community kind of thing, because it's almost 1 year since the release of Downwell, so I thought it might be a good occasion to put something out there like that. But in terms of updates to the main game, probably not.
Whether the microphone works. I'm curious if you like sort of didn't make Downwell, or like if you were like, oh, I don't know, Game Maker's too weird, I can't make a video game. Like, would you make comics? Would you do pixel art? Would you have found a programmer to collaborate with her? Because like the Downwell pixel art is cool.
I don't know. I was determined in pursuing this whole indie game thing, and I was determined enough so that I would like keep working at it for maybe 2 years or 3, maybe like even working part-time and doing it. So yeah, I probably went on by myself. If Downwell didn't work out, I probably would have just went back to Gamer Week again. And yeah, if that didn't work out after the time frame that I set, I probably would have just got a normal job. Yeah.
Have you thought about returning to Gamer Week stuff? Or had you?
I did, and that's what came of Neom. Yeah. So I feel like Gamer Week is the best way for me to just like get a quick idea for game design. So yeah, I really think that's a good way to just exercise your mind and also maybe like come up with new ideas in the process. I really like Gamer Week. Thanks, Rami.
Do you still do opera singing?
No. I hated it.
For the stream, the question was, do you still do opera singing?
So yeah, it's a weird story how I ended up doing opera singing. Actually, if I have the time to go into it, do I have the time, or like I have so much time? Do I?
Try to keep the opera story to under an hour 45.
Okay, that's gonna be hard, but okay. So as I said, I've always loved video games, and I really wanted to work on them, but I gave up early on programming, right, because I hated maths. But I never really gave up on the whole thing, so what I thought when I was around 13 was that maybe if I can't do programming, I could do music for video games. And around that time, just as I was about to enter high school, I found that there was a high school that specifically taught music somewhere in my town, and so naturally I just tried to get in that high school. But in that process, I had to major in an instrument, and I obviously couldn't play the piano or anything like that. And the other kids who was getting into that school was like had been practicing the piano since they were like 5, or like been playing the violin for their entire lives, and like those kinds of kids, right? So I had to compete against them, and I asked one of the teachers there how I could get into that school without having done any of that kind of stuff, and they were just like, maybe you could try singing, because with singing, you don't have to have started it early on in your life, because there's like the I don't know how to say it in English, but there's the voice transition thing that occurs around puberty or something, right? So yeah, even if you had started singing like way back and way younger, it doesn't really matter, because everything kind of resets at that point, at the voice transition point. So with singing, there wasn't much of an advantage to having done it for a long time. So I could just start then and maybe compete with the other kids who were going to measure in singing. So I started practicing singing, and it turned out that my vocal cord was actually pretty good for singing, and I got into that high school, and the teachers there like found potential in me, and they were like, you should get into this best music university in Japan, and they really pushed me there, and I was able to enter that music university, which is like said to be the best in Japan. But at that point, I was kind of like, what am I doing with my life? And like, I tried to remember why I got into this whole music thing, and then I remembered, oh man, I was in this for video games, but I'm like now studying opera and like singing Italian songs about like being in love with this young girl from a village and shit, and like, yeah, I was kind of lost, but I felt like there was just no going back at that point, so I kind of went on studying it for, like 7 years in total, around. Yeah, and just as I was about to graduate, I regretted that 7 years and just started making games, and it turned out all right. So I was like, fuck singing, I'll just make games. And yeah. Yeah. I'm really glad I made that decision.
So standard game industry stuff.
Yeah, real basic
7 years
stuff.
of opera training and then indie games.
That's necessary, yeah. 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 What's that? How much practicing?
Okay.
No, fuck that. No, I'm not up for that. No, I'm never singing
again. I think the
again.
question was are there enough people here to peer pressure you into singing against your will?
No, this isn't enough. No,
Right,
number is enough for that.
okay.
No way, I am not singing. No. Hell no. I got into this to not sing, so just beats the point, you know? Yeah. Sure.
Would you say that it's faster? What are the advantages of using the sprites versus a polygon?
The main advantage is that I don't have to learn Unity.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just has a distinctive look to it, I think. But yeah, like seriously.
Did you find some cool stuff that you could do with it that would actually be pretty weird to do in 3D?
Not really. No. Yeah, honestly, the main reason is that I don't have to learn Unity. Really, like seriously. I'm really sorry for my artist, but yeah, and do feel like it creates a distinctive look, so I'm not really like regretting it or anything. And she seems like she's like handling it well, so I think I'll keep going with this. But
Did you
yeah.
guys find anything where, I guess aside from the water tower, where you were like, oh man, we should have learned Unity?
Oh, like with everything. Yeah. Like the trucks, those cars and stuff, like super hard to draw, I think. And even like the trees is like, it's like super cumbersome process of like.
Can you step us through the sprites?
What's that? Oh, sure. So yeah, just for the
Jesus
truck,
Christ,
it's like
Donnie.
this. Yeah. I don't know how she handles this. Shit.
You're a terrible person. How could you do this?
Yeah. What do you mean? Oh yeah, I can make it top down. Yeah. Oh shit, this is fucked up. Hang on. I think I can make it be top down in the level editor. Oh yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look all that special. But look at this. Whoa. 3D. Shit.
So you're not using any of the D3D stuff in Game Maker?
No, I don't know how to use it. Yeah, so like, for some of the stuff like trees, I feel like it takes less sprites than it would normally take for Polygon to draw, but for this like concrete wall thing, it uses like what, 20 sprites, where it would be like way fewer polygons. But hey, I don't have to learn to use Unity, so.
The trees around the edge, do you cheat and have like mobility just to avoid, pinning it down?
Oh yeah, I do that. So I just like, or rather the level designer, the artist just like places a bunch of trees and then puts these like boxes around. This is the process, just placing a whole bunch of these. Yeah.
Are you familiar with her process at all? Does she model things in 3D and then sort of like a CT scan like you're saying, or is it just sort of trial and error? Do you know?
What do you mean?
Like when Nemke's drawing, like you say, like, oh, now we need a little house. Like, does she do a 3D model and look at how the shapes are, or is it just like open up a whole bunch of Photoshop layers and like, or graphic scale layers and just?
Oh
like,
yeah, she just wings it with the layered ones. She doesn't make like a 3D model first or anything like that. She just like starts drawing. I think it's a talent of hers, but I actually made a game maker software where it would be easy for her to just preview how the thing would look in the game. So I think that helps.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you guys finding that because of the layered sprites that you're tending to pick things that kind of lend themselves to either blobs or squares? Like is trying to make a sloped roof on a house just like so annoying and weird that like aesthetically you're ending up with things that are kind of a little more square, a little more chunky? Like just the industrial design in the world feels very like cohesive right now.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening. It's hard to create a diagonal slope, kinda. There are some that has that, but yeah, it's kind of like weird to make this. So yeah, mostly everything is just flat.
Is the character stack sprites too?
Oh no, these are like 2D sprites.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the enemy sprites and stuff, well, anything that the player can interact with basically is in 2D, like how Doom sprites would be. Like it's just facing towards you at any time. Yeah.
I was gonna ask if you guys have experimented with like using more like billboard sprites that are rather than just like flat, like facing the camera, or like vertical up and down. Sort of like the way the player is.
Oh. Right, like directional sprites, you mean?
I guess are there things in the environment that you don't interact with that are done more like the players or the enemies, or is the environment really
Actually-
pretty uniformly stacked?
Actually, the trees in-game, they're actually Doom sprites as well. I mean, like billboard sprites, even though they don't look like it. So what happened was there was just too many trees in the game that drawing them in the layered sprite pattern would just make the game lag so hard.
So the bumpy edges on the trees.
Yeah, they're
are-
just, like,
That's a
drawn.
billboard that's drawn to look like a stacked sprite.
That's right. Just like cheating.
That's my favorite filthy trick I've seen in a long time. No, none of them. None of the.
Not all of them, no. Like, I can't remember which ones are 3D, but ones that might stand out, might be noticeable, they might be in 3D. But mostly, what, which one? Really? Oh yeah, this is 3D. Yeah, how'd you notice that? Shit. You'd be super good at hidden faults. Yeah. Yeah, so I do plan on using the billboard trick if like the game needs quite a huge number of a certain object and the game starts lagging, I might resort to that to just reduce the thingy needed to thing. You know, like, what's the word? Just reduce lag. But other than that, I don't. Oh yeah, and for like enemies, I feel like it's not super necessary to prepare like all directions for these kind of guys. So yeah, I'm not sure though. I don't know. They don't have backwards yet. Oh, I should probably have backwards though. Yeah, maybe just front and back. Yeah, as you can probably notice, I really haven't put much thought into it yet. I'm gonna like get on actually like planning the whole thing out and revamping, like remaking the gameplay and everything like that after Fantastic Arcade is done. So yeah, the game might be like way different sometime from now. I don't know. This is mostly like an experimentation on the graphic style and the aesthetic that like we might be going for. And with terms of like the graphic style and aesthetic, I think it's pretty good already. So
I love that folding chair so much.
oh yeah.
So good. So for people who are watching the stream, is there any way that they can play Neom right now?
Oh yeah, you should get the Fantastic Arcade bundle available on itch.io, right?
Pretty subtle, right?
Yeah. It's a good bundle. You should get it. You should get it. Yeah, maybe that'll be a mechanic. I just haven't thought about it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I could do that. I just don't know yet. Like, I'm just not sure if overpowering the player, like, might not be a good idea for this game. I don't know. I don't know yet. If I can make the combat like more interesting, I might keep the whole like ground versus sky mechanic. But if that seems to kill the aesthetic thing, then I might just remove it completely. Make combat be more subtle, and yeah, calm. I don't think so, no. Oh, so we were having trouble coming up with the name, and we ended up on Neom because so the game is set in like a post-apocalyptic world where like some big nuclear accident might have happened, and we just started on that. And initially it was going to be something like uranium or something because, you know, uranium's something that's got to do with nuclear stuff, right? I'm not too... Yeah, you do something with the uranium and like some explosion happens or something, right? And
That sounds right. That's,
yeah, that's basically
getting a
it,
little
right?
technical for this audience, but
Right. Yeah, and but uranium didn't sound very good, so we thought about going with ranium, just like removing the U, and then the artist was like, just maybe we could make it be 4 letters because that would be better for the logo. It would look cleaner, and we just went with Neom like that. Don't know how much sense that makes, but yeah.
Have you thought about future platforms aside from PC for this, like either console or mobile potentially as well?
Most likely not mobile, just PC and maybe consoles. I don't know. I want to make a smiley face, but having a problem. Here you go.
Like kind of an odd question, but have you played Sword and Sorcery?
The artist is a huge fan of that game. I haven't actually finished playing that game yet.
I just asked that because this kind of really reminds me of Super Brothers' work.
Oh, the pixel art?
Yeah.
Oh, right, that makes sense because I think she takes a lot of inspiration from that game. Yeah.
any other questions from out there? Not about singing?
I use a pretty basic physics engine that's built into Game Maker. So, yeah, and it makes it possible for me to draw a like relatively complex mask for a 2D game. Where is it? Oh no. Hang on, this isn't what I want to show. Oh yeah. This is what I do. It's a basic physics engine thing. Yeah.
Neat. Ojiro, thank you so much for walking us through your games and your prototypes, and for showing us all the good gifts, and for telling us about your singing career.
No problem.
Because that's like my 3rd favorite story of the week now.
Oh shit.
So you guys, I think what we're going to do is basically for the rest of this block.
Oh yeah, this is.
Oh. Whoa!
Oh man. Yeah, she's not impressed. Yeah. Yeah, oh, what a life.
Holy shit.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I interrupted you.
No, more. It's going to be a video. Yeah. You can put
Oh,
as
no,
many
no video, no
videos
way.
as you want.
Hell no. I don't have any video, but no.
Yes, I think basically this block goes till 8. There'll be food and drink service the whole time. I think we're just going to do Downwell free play and sign-ups for the Downwell tournament, which starts at 8 o'clock in the next block. So if you want to practice, you want to show off, form rivalries, challenge Ojiro to his own game.
I suck at my own game now. I can't even beat it anymore. It's too hard. No, I'll lose. I can't even beat it though. So.
But yeah, we'll do that, and the next block will start at 8 with official Downwell head-to-head battle mode. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you so much, Ojiro.
Thank you very much. Thank you.